The wind whipped through the brown 78 Firebird as Tulip sped through the tiny town, afternoon sun shining down pleasantly through the T-top. Along for the ride was her mangy mutt Dirt and her best bitch Shonda McLean. Dirt sat on Shonda's bruised bare legs, tongue wagging in the breeze. Shonda played with her hoop earrings and brushed black curls away from her cigarette. Tulip took long swallows of Schlitz and bobbed her head to the ZZ Top Fandango 8-track. Shonda and Tulip had bonded back in junior high over lack of parental supervision, and through the years they had grown into similar tastes together. Strong interest in weed, cheap beer, and sex, a moderate interest in speed, and of course, disrobing for pleasure and profit. As a matter of fact, it was the weed that put them on the road this afternoon. They were headed to a little house in the woods outside of town to get $40 worth of decent shit from WILLY HAMMERSMITH. WILLY was actually Tulip's least favorite dealer, but lately he always had the best bud, so what was a girl to do? As they left the buildings and houses behind them, they met a single vehicle coming into town. A tan and rust Dodge pickup she recognized as belonging to one of her first boyfriends, Jeremiah Vickers. Maya was clearly on the tweak again. His shirtless torso hung half out the window, his free arm banging out a loud rhythm on the metal door as his scruffy, bespectacled head rolled on his shoulders to whatever music he was listening to. Two bare-shouldered preteen girls sat on the bench seat beside him. One looked happy, the other a little scared. Tulip scrunched her face and spat out the window. Maya Vickers. Ew. The thought of his uncut pecker took her back to wilder, uglier times. She still wore Jeep's tank top and the ripped shorts from the night before, and she rubbed the cold beer against the thin cloth over one nipple before she pushed it firmly between her legs. The Firebird didn't have cup holders. Too bad. "Oh, Lord, take me downtown," she sang with ZZ Top. "I'm just looking for some tush," Shonda finished. 10 minutes later, they were bouncing down gravel. Tulip swerved to miss a box turtle, and then they were on dirt for another 5 minutes, and then they were there, rolling up the hill to Willie's double wide and the acre of junk cars, overgrown grass, and just straight-up garbage that surrounded it. A chained Rottweiler greeted them with a vicious bout of barks and jerks as they stepped out of the Firebird, leaving always well-behaved Dirt to sit quietly in the front seat, gazing impassively at the Rott, just pissing it off even more. Bear or King or Killer or some dumb shit, Tulip couldn't remember the Rott's name, or even if it was the same one as last time. Willie was fond of his unfriendly, interchangeable yard dogs. Tulip drained the Schlitz, then threw the bottle against a yellow Ford Pinto amidst the junk. Another car with bad memories attached, and they walked up the rickety steps and onto the rickety porch. Tulip banged twice on the aluminum storm door and they let themselves in. The place was darkish and smoky, with dust dancing in the little sunbeams that snuck through the threadbare paisley sheets that served as curtains. "Goddamn, girl, just let yourself in, why don't you?" Willie had stood at the sound of them knocking, but was already dropping back into his dusty green recliner. Perpetually shirtless, lazy-eyed and balding, 30-something Willie inexplicably considered himself a ladies' man, which Tulip found amusing for all of 2 seconds. "What brings you fine young ladies out to see old Willie?" he said in a sing-song voice as if he were talking to a dog or a toddler. "Oh, we was just wondering how you're doing out here in the woods," was Shonda's sugar-sweet reply. Tulip didn't have the stomach to flirt for extra weed, but Shonda sure as shit didn't mind. Willie giggled, scrawny arms scratching curly-haired beer belly. "Just looking to give you some money for drugs so we can get out of your dark-ass trailer," Tulip said. Another giggle and belly rub from Willie. "How much you want, girlie?" $40, Shonda answered for her, even though she was always broke one way or another, and it was usually Tulip buying the weed. "But you could always throw in a pinch more for your favorite customers, if you want." That last bit with a put-on laugh and a shameless tug at the top of her torn V-neck. Another giggle, another belly rub. "Well, I'll have to see about that. Why don't y'all have a seat and I'll be right back." Willie made for the back bedroom while the girls sat on the scratchy plaid couch, Tulip noticing the Dukes of Hazzard on the wooden zenith in the corner. Tulip gave Shonda a "you ought to be ashamed of yourself" look. She was really laying it on thick today for some reason. "What?" Shonda feigned ignorance and innocence, but just for a second. "I was just getting you free weed." A pause, then, "I gotta hit the pisser." Shonda made for the back bathroom while Tulip watched TV. There was Daisy, sexy as shit in her namesake jean shorts. There was General Lee, one of the most badass cars ever to grace the small screen. And there was Bo and Duke. She'd always wanted to fuck Duke. She started rubbing the inside of her thigh now just watching him. How the hell long was this bitch gonna be in the bathroom? Then Shonda came down the hallway, but she wasn't alone. Two more familiar faces entered the room. Jesus, Tulip thought, lighting a smoke. It was Lacey Purtle and fucking Donnie Goggins. Tulip didn't have just an abundance of respect for poor Lacey. She was one of those girls whose daddy didn't love her enough, but her stepdad made up for it in all the wrong ways, so now she basically gave it up to anybody. Ugh, she was just such a little victim it was hard for Tulip to take. Tulip didn't mind a gal with an open door policy, but when they had been working together at the Satin Lady, Lacey had been getting a touch too friendly with Jeep one night, offering him a free lap dance, and Tulip had interjected. She knew it was just Lacey's nature, but she wasn't having that shit. Anyway, word was she'd found herself a bit of a ghetto sugar daddy in WILLY HAMMERSMITH. And judging by her giant t-shirt and no panties get-up, the rumor seemed to be true. Donnie Goggins, on the other hand, was the village idiot. A goofy, chinless bastard with thick glasses and a perpetual foam and mesh ball cap perched high on his wispy head, Goggins was the kind of guy whose presence was never requested nor desired, but somehow the fucking guy was always everywhere all the time anyhow. At the bar, on the street, at the cookout, and even right here in your drug dealer's living room, Donnie always found a way to stick close to the pack. Well, if it ain't Two Lips and Sean D., Donnie said with a whistle and his dumb fucking laugh as he plopped his gangly ass in Willie's recliner. Oh my God, shut the fuck up, Donnie. Even Shonda couldn't take the guy. Donnie laughed his giddy gurgle as Lacey wordlessly joined them on the couch. As Lacey packed a bowl and a little stone pipe, she had the same expression on her face that she always had, eyes blank and mouth wide open. She hit the pipe and held her breath as she passed it to Tulip, who held her hit as Lacey released hers, smoke mingling with dust in the sunbeams. What took you so long? Shonda chirped as Willie came back into the room. Out of my chair, retard, was his reply, relegating Donnie to the shoe bench by the door. Tulip handed him the cash and he tossed into her lap a torn and tied piece of plastic Walmart sack. He leaned forward and made a show of glancing both ways before raising the back of his hand to one side of his face and mouthing, I hooked it up, with an exaggerated smile and slow nod. Whoop-de shit. Wow, man, Shonda dutifully exclaimed. Okay, enough of this shit. Well, we gotta be hitting the road, Tulip said cheerfully, springing to her feet and wiping couch crumbs and dog hair off her thighs and ass cheeks. A quick round of see yas, then back past the barking rot, and they were with Dirt and the Firebird and heading back to town, with Tulip having no idea she'd just participated in a $5,000 robbery.